Folks, I want to welcome you to day 6 of the 7-day Insta Growth Method Workshop. Now, folks, we're going to dive right in today because I've got a lot to cover and I want to make sure you guys are getting everything you need. Now, again, if you're not in the Messenger community, make sure you get signed in there. We'll make sure you get approved. I'd like you to be posting any of your reels in there so that the community can see them and we can all work together on them. All right. So again, let's talk about our routine. Okay, so right off the bat, we're getting up in the morning, we're making a note of our follower count, and we're making a note of our following. Once again, we're going to open up our feed and we're going to like the A players. And that's very important because that's really what tells Instagram who it is we're after. It tells them that we're looking for their B players. And that's how it helps them to serve us up the people we really want. Okay, of course, start getting ideas for your next reel. That's probably getting routine for you by now, so that should be normal. And really, I hope you're having fun with all this because really, if it's a chore to do it, then it's no longer what you want to be doing. You want to have fun with what you're doing. You want to get this down to a routine so it's not a job. And then you just are in control of it. And then it's really fun to watch all the people come in and so forth. So anyway, start getting ideas for your next reel. Follow your 10B players. Again, that's very important. Again, we're following them, but we are not engaging them yet. Okay, so focus on your A players to make sure that you go in right away, hit that favorite scroll, and make sure you go and like all their stuff. Now, don't do it through your normal feed. Make sure you go to favorites, because if you're going to do it through your normal feed, you're going to start seeing your B players come up in there. And so if you're going through it and the B players start coming up, then you're going to accidentally like one of those, and that's going to mess up your algorithm. You don't want to do that. So make sure you go to the favorites part right off the bat to do that. Okay. So you're following your 10B players, and again, you're pruning your feed. So you're going through your feed screen and you're pruning it out, or the Explorer window, whatever they want to call it. But you're pruning that out, getting rid of the junk you don't want and liking the stuff you do want, because that's what's going to keep it serving up the stuff you want to see. Okay. Now, again, make sure you follow back anybody that's in your niche. Again, if they're not in your niche, don't follow them back, but you do want to follow them back right away. Okay. Make sure you go inactive for 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours in between, and then repeat it 3 times a day. And I think you've noticed I've been doing that right along with you. So, I'm trying to make sure I lead by example for you. Anyway, so we're going to do that every day. Now, here's something I want to show you. So what you can do is you go to your dashboard right there. And that, of course, is going to give you your number of posts, your number of followers, and your number of people that you're following. Okay. So now if you go up to the little hamburger there, they call that the hamburger, the 3 lines. Okay. You're going to click on that and it's going to take you to settings and activity. Okay. Now I want you to scroll down on your settings and activity till you see for professionals and the insights button. And you're going to click on that insights button and it's going to take you over to a page like this. And what this is going to do is show you who's seeing your stuff. And the whole goal, as we've discussed, behind Reels is to get to your non-followers and bring them in to become followers. And then we're going to use the stories, which we're going to go into heavily tomorrow. You use the stories to actually bring them to you. Okay. So if you notice here, I'm getting an 85% non-followers, which is great. That's exactly what if you're looking for 75% or better. Okay, so we're doing pretty good here. Obviously, we're doing the right thing, posting the right stuff. It's getting sent out to the right people. Now, you'll see it a little more lopsided if you go into my local community one, because the followers are a little more seeing stuff, but that's to be expected because it's a local group. But still reaching out to a lot of non-followers, and I'm getting about 10 new people a day in that group. So then once you're there, what you're going to see is you can click on insights in there, and it's going to give you this right here. So you go there and it's going to give you what your views are, what your interactions are, how many new followers you've got going, content you've shared, so forth. So it gives you all that. And that content you shared isn't just reels, it's everything. And actually, I'm not sure. Let me go look in that real quick. Sites. So yeah, I noticed there's a little thing behind it. So actually, and you won't see this, but if you open up followers, and I'll see if I can show it to you here. But if you open up the followers, you can see it actually gives you a breakdown of your follower count, and tells me I'm plus 1,809% versus February 26th. Well, since I was just getting the count started on February 26th, I would hope I'd grown. Anyway, my overall growth is 561. My follows are 632. My unfollows are 71. So some people follow you and then they unfollow you, which is okay. And then it's got a nice little chart down here for me. So I didn't even realize that was there until just now. So once you're in here, you can go in and click on this little arrow right there at the end, and it'll actually open that up for you. Let me see if it what the views says here. So it gives me a nice graph there of who's seeing what, tells me who's seeing what reels, um, tells me what area of the world they're coming from, all kinds of neat stuff. So yeah, a lot of valuable information in there. So even taking a step beyond this, once you're in there and click on these arrows, best practices. Let's see what it gives me on that. So I'm learning as we go here, folks. So best practices. Well, there we go. That gives me a whole listing of things that I can tap on and learn more about what I can do to improve my page. So anyway, once you get in there, go ahead and tap around into these. So it's got ad tools, branded content, all kinds of stuff there. So definitely handy to be able to get in there and see those insights. Okay, folks, don't be alarmed. Woo, don't be alarmed. Okay, our 7 days here, it's coming to an end. We've only got one more day. Still got a lot of information to get to you, but that means our grace period is ending as well. So not only are you going to be getting done with me, but your grace period with Instagram is coming to an end. So you've got one more day to really make it count on that 7 day cycle. And so, anyway, like I say, you got one more day left. And then what you're going to notice is your followers are going to slow down a little. Now you want to keep up the process you've been doing, but you're going to notice it slows down a little bit because, as we said, you've got that 2 week head start. Well, the first week is really souped up, and then the second week kind of slows down a little bit. And you'll find when you get to the third week, it slows down yet a little more. But again, I'm still gaining people on a daily basis, and so I can't complain about it. Okay, this is a quote by Denzel Washington. The goals on the road to achievement cannot be achieved without discipline and consistency. And that really is the key to the Instagram is the consistency. You've got to do it every day. And I know it's tough, right? When you get started, oh my gosh, all this posting, all this everything. But I think we've shown how you can make that easier and get it calmed down and get ahead on it so that really, if you're in a pinch, you don't have time to do it, you can just go to your phone and tap one of your ready-made reels and send it up and you're still right on time. And we've also shown that you can miss a day or miss a post and it's not the end of the world. They recognize that that's what's happening. So let's talk about direct messaging. Okay, you're going to start getting messages from people, and first ones are going to be pretty much, hey, thanks for the follow, so forth. Okay, and up to now we haven't been messaging back, but starting today we can. So now that you've started building things up, we're now at day 6. Now you can start messaging back. Do not message first. Only respond to messages that come to you. Do not initiate messages because, again, you'll be telling the algorithm who you're going for. They understand when you respond to a message to you. That's just being polite. Okay. So that's the social that they want to see, is if somebody messages you, you reply, but do not message out yet, just receive messages. Okay. So that's the key thing on that. Now, pretty soon, as you get bigger, now, of course, you'll be getting a lot of messages in, and that gets tricky. So a lot of your DMs, because you use that drop a specific keyword in the messages to get whatever you're sending them, the DM is just going to be one word. It's just going to be the keyword you ask them to drop. And that's where, as you get going now, obviously, right now, it's a couple of DMs and you can just send it back to them. But as you get bigger, you're going to want to automate this, because if you have something that goes viral and you get 100 DMs, you just lost a day DMing people back. So that's where the messaging and automation of the bot comes in. Okay. And these bots do so much more than just Instagram, and we can go into that in a whole nother session. But you can turn it on and it can handle the messaging. It will be able to actually take that thing and send back whatever it is you're supposed to send to them. It can actually initiate a conversation, a basic conversation. Now, it's important you train your bot not to indicate that it's you. You don't ever want to pretend that the bot is you. It's an automation. It's your assistant. So it would address people as, "Hey, I'm Stu's assistant. How can I help you today?" Or I have one on my company that's we call her Vela, and my company is Velocity Traffic Systems. So Vela is our assistant, and she will greet you and say, "Hi, I'm Vela, the Velocity Traffic Assistance or Systems Assistant." And that's the way you want that to work. You want it to be very friendly. Now, these bots can be put on the bottoms of pages. So when you start sending out your lead pages, you can put the bots on the bottom. So if they have a question, they can actually interact with it. The bot can actually schedule appointments for you. They're pretty neat, but you don't want to do them just yet. You're not big enough yet. And the bot will actually respond in a way that is too much for what you are right now. But as you get to that point, you're going to want to do that, because it can handle the direct messaging for you. It can return those things. And the bot actually just now got approved by Meta to be able to handle your stories. So when it replies to a story, it will be able to send something to you. So, okay. So the next thing, when you respond to people, you need to think about where they are in the buyer readiness stages. Okay. So the buyer readiness stages are as follows. First, people who are just blissfully unaware. These people are living life without knowing there's even a problem to solve. They're doing their 9 to 5 and they think it's just dandy, and they don't know that there's more out there, or they don't know that they could have their own business, or, they just don't know. They're just not there yet. Okay, then you've got the slightly curious. And I'll give you a good example. We had a friend who was a hairdresser, was doing Instagram. And then all of a sudden she started seeing somebody who was doing, and she wasn't doing it really, intently. And she started seeing people doing Instagrams about hair extensions and hair highlights and things like that. And so she became curious about what the possibility was there. So that's your slightly curious stage. Now, once she got past that stage, she became solution exploring. So she saw this out there and she's wondering, hey, could that be for me? So now she's out there exploring the solutions. So you want to gauge your people that are messaging you and see where they are in this cycle. Somebody who's just thanking you for the follow, you have no idea yet where they are in the cycle. And so all you're wanting to do at that point is just establish a relationship and have a conversation so you can find out where they are in the process. So you got some people who are solution exploring. Now, those are people that you can make aware that there are some solutions out there. Okay. Then you have the decision weighing people. Okay. Well, those are people who know that there's some solutions out there, but so they know what's available, but they want clarity or proof or trust to move forward. So, in other words, if somebody was considering internet marketing, and they realize at this point that internet marketing is a thing and you can actually make money at it, but they're not sure how to move forward, and they're not sure who to trust as far as moving forward. And this is where they're looking for somebody like you who is trustworthy, who does have knowledge, who can help them, this is where they're looking for you. And this is where you come in. And then you've got the people who are action ready. Okay. Well, then they already know that there are things like click funnels, go high level. They don't know about the titanium software suite yet. They don't know about whatever the thing is you've got, you know. Again, if you're in a different niche, they don't know about the coaching program you have. They don't know about the solution you've found for their weight loss issue. They don't know about that. And so that's where you're at now. They are action ready. They know there's things out there. You're now in a point of showing them, hey, this is the right thing for you. Okay. So you want to gauge that response by where they are. Now, if you've been having a conversation with somebody for a while and they're saying, hey, I really love what you're doing, Stu. I want to get in and have you help me with that? Okay, well, that's when they're action ready. That's when you're at that point. So at that point, you might say, okay, well, let's get going. Okay. When they're decision weighing, you might say, hey, you've got some options here, but I'd be happy to help you out. So you've got to weigh what level they're at before you respond to that. Okay. So respond to every message promptly. Okay. So don't let it, don't respond to your messages once a week. Um, you want to do it again, only respond, don't initiate, but respond right away. Okay. And then I'm going to show you some of this stuff here in just a minute. Okay. But make sure you respond right away. And for extra special touch, you can respond with audio. So, in other words, just grab your thing, press the little microphone on it, and just respond with an audio message. Kind of takes it up to another level, makes it a little more personal. Say, hey, Jim, hey, I love what you're doing over there. Maybe I could help you with this. I don't know, but responding that way, or, hey, Jim, thanks for making contact. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Something as simple as that personalizes the message more so than just a text back. And it also makes it seem like you're real, because a text could be sent by somebody in a foreign country who's trying to scam you. Somebody sending an audio message seems more real. Okay. So now we're going to talk about how you can use these little things to to just make things a little easier for you. So for starters, there's a couple things I want you to see. When you are on a message, okay, if you hold down that message, I want to see, did I do that on the next screen? Um, if you hold down the message, it's going to pop up. Maybe I did it on the screen after. I thought I did. Okay, never mind. Anyway, if you hold down on top of them, it'll pop up and it gives you a choice of primary or secondary, and you can actually move them to a primary or secondary position. So now, if it's somebody you're actively doing business with, I would move them to primary. If somebody you're really wanting to be in contact with, or your partners or whatever, move them to primary. If it's somebody that's just contacting you, hi, how you doing? I'd move them to general until such time as they get more involved, and then you can move them to primary. Okay, now the other little trick is once you hold it down, you've got the choice to add a label. So this little drop down will come down, and it's where you can highlight the primary or the general, and then it's also got a choice of add a label. So you can add a label, and these labels are going to come up. Okay, now they are not colored like this. I have colored them in order to make it easier for you to understand what we're doing. They are just going to come up as a black and white radio dot box. Okay. But remember this over here, because they will come up. Nope, while they're not colored in the dot, they are colored over here. So you can use it and you can create your own method for doing this. But for instance, I'm using green for answered. So you can tell I've actually made contact with all these people. Now, if they message me back, you'll see a little blue word reply right there that's telling you they're waiting for a reply. So having the green won't make you miss another contact, but it'll tell you you've at least initiated contact with that person. If it doesn't have anything, then you know you need to respond to it. Um, you can use the read message, um, or the orange, which would mean read message. Now that's actually going to be ordered. So in other words, you're going to kind of have to get used to what they really are and what they're not used for. But you can use this as a color code should you desire to do so. So far, I've only used the green just to make sure I keep track of people I have talked to, but I can see where a purple for lead, I can see where this is going to be becoming more important. I'm probably actually going to print this off and keep it off to the side somewhere so I can use it as a cheat. So anyway, let's move along here. The next thing I want you to do is make sure you turn off your read receipts and your activity. And that's going to happen under the three little hamburgers. Okay. You go to the three little hamburgers and you're going to get down to messages and stories. So scroll down and find messages and story replies. And then we're also going to find, so you're setting, actually, it's backwards, settings and activities, and then it's going to take you to messages and story replies. Okay. So you want to find one that says show activity status, and you're going to open it up and you're going to see this. You need to turn that off. You don't want people to be able to see your activity, whether you're online, offline, what have you. So just turn that off altogether. The other thing is I want you to go to the show read receipts and turn off the read receipts. Okay, let me see if I can. So show activity status. So it's actually backwards. You're going to come to this page first. You're going to go to the messages and story replies right here. It's going to bring up this page. And then you're going to go to the message requests, or I'm sorry, the story replies and the show activity status. I'm sorry, show activity status and the show read receipts. So show read receipts, show activity status. So once you get into those, just turn those buttons off. Real simple. All right, let's talk a little bit about captions. Okay. For captions, first of all, don't be a sheep. Don't don't watch everybody else's thing and just take their things and captions and make your own video. But be yourself. Um, you do you. So don't try and be somebody else. Be yourself. That's what people want. People want to do business with you. They don't want to do business with something generic. Personally, I don't see the whole thing behind these faceless accounts. I may try and do one just to see what works, but I personally believe people want to do business with you. So find your voice. Might take you a few weeks to get it down, but just do it. Be consistent. Make sure you're doing it every day, twice a day. Show Instagram that you're there to play. And remember that this guy is not you. Okay. Chat GPT is not you. I think you've seen me throughout this. Anything I've done with Chat GPT, I've started out with something from me. Now, in my case, I pick up a phone and I speak it in there, and I'll give it some real gibberish and let it clean it up for me. As long as I can give it an idea of what I'm after, it can take that and make it into something pretty, you know. But don't just let it decide for you. Don't let it make all the moves. Don't just let it print things out and post them. Make sure they're right. Read them over. Make sure they sound like you. Um, you know, just make that difference. If you're struggling to make the caption into a conversation type thing, ask Chat GP to learn somebody else's style. So find one of your A players, somebody you really like, and start looking at their captions. Well, this is Amy Porterfield. She's an A player in the online marketing area. So you can simply copy one of her captions and plug it into Chat GPT and say, make my captions in this style. And ChatGPT can do that, and it can lay it out like that every time. So if you ask ChatGPT to do that, it can do it. So if you're struggling with trying to find that out, trying to get that style right, again, don't copy, give ChatGPT something to start with, but then say, ChatGPT, make the caption in this style. Okay. And that's going to give you the style where the calls to actions are in the right place and all of that sort of thing. So bear in mind that that can be very helpful. Okay. Let's talk about our goals on Instagram. Okay. Well, number one, of course, is to make them stop scrolling. Okay. We want to make them stop. So we want something that's going to catch their attention in a video, in a image. That's where people dancing on the screen makes a difference, that sort of thing. It makes people stop scrolling and reading. And sometimes it makes them watch what's going on the screen a few times before they even get to the reading, which makes them watch your video 2 or 3 times, which gets you more repetitions on that, makes your video more watched, makes Instagram send it out to even more people. So that's exactly what you're after. Um, make them take your call to action. Okay. So you want to make them stop scrolling. You want to make them read your caption because that's where the information is. The scroll is the reel and the scroll. You want to stop it with that hook and just get them immediately over to read your caption. You want the hook to be something where it gives them enough curiosity. You want to see what the caption's about. All right. Follow up as a lead. Okay. So you want to give them what the call to action is, and then you want to follow up with that lead. Okay. And then make the sale. That's our goal. Okay. Now, obviously, initially, it's to follow you. Okay. And that's what it should say, not follow up, should say follow as a lead. Your goal is to make them take your CTA, follow you as a lead, and then make a sale to them. Okay. So you've got to do that one step at a time. And once they become a lead, you've got to nurture them a little bit before you get to make the sale. You've got to build the relationship. All right. So let's talk about writing like you speak. Again, you don't want to sound like Chat GPT. You want to write and have it sound like you. You want to talk like it's your friend. Okay, so don't talk to the video as if you're talking to a large group of people. Talk to it as if you're talking to an individual. So in other words, it's not, "Hey folks, how you doing today?" It's, "Hi, how are you doing today?" Okay, you want to speak directly to the individual, not to a group. Train your readers to read your captions. Okay, you want to make sure that when you write it, that they want to go over and read your caption, and it wants to be enough, wants to keep them there. And again, give, sell. You want it to be a give, sell kind of a thing. So when you're doing your writing, that's the way you want to do it. Give them everything you've got. Don't hold anything back. Don't, I'm not going to do this Instagram thing for you and save back that one little secret that makes you want to take my next level course. In fact, at the end of this, I've got nothing to sell to you. Nothing at all. This is totally a give. I have nothing to sell to you. And so, there's not going to be any big pitch or anything like that. That's just not what we're here for. And I'm here to give you everything I've got on Instagram. And I know there's a lot of, you've probably dealt with some gurus in the past that taught you this, but they kept that last little bit out. And that was the way that the internet was working. And some people still work that way. But I'm of the belief that that's not the way to go. I'm of the belief you give everybody everything you've got in order to make it happen. And if that's the case, why wouldn't they want to work with you on something else? Why wouldn't they want to go to the next level with you? That's the way you've got to look at things. And I know that my mentors had some conversations with some of the top name people, um, like initials RB about that, and they said, you're giving away too much, you're giving away too much. And the answer is no. You give them everything you've got. You do everything you can to help them have a success and make it to the next level. And that's what I'm hoping for you, is that you're going to get this Instagram going. You're going to do the consistency. You're going to blow it up, and you're going to make it count, because the reality is this is where it's at for the next little bit. This is where the business is going to be coming in. Facebook is kind of dying. TikTok is kind of iffy. This is where it's at right now. And I know if you're anything like me, I put off making short form videos for the longest time, continually telling myself, "Hey, I got to get that done. I got to get that done, but I got all this to do. Hey, next week I'm going to start figuring out this short form video thing." Well, this is where you get over that hump, folks. This is where you figure that out and you start going nuts with it, and you make it count for you, because it's really where it's at. So anyway, you do you. Be funny, witty, techie, whatever you are. Okay. If you're more of a coach and more of an inspirational person, then focus on that. I tend to be a little more techie, so I tend to focus on that, and I kind of have to pull that back a little bit so that I don't over talk the average person with tech talk. Um, but write from your soul. Okay. Whatever it is you're writing, be it a caption, be it an email, be it a what have you, I want you to write from your soul. Okay. Um, when you're doing a caption, you need to do a second hook. Want it to be short and sweet, just a couple of words. Use a few emojis, definitely pointer fingers like over in your thing to point to the caption. Point down, definitely pointers going down, either an arrow or a pointer. Hey, drop a thing in the caption. Okay, make sure you have those. Um, don't complicate or intimidate. So in other words, don't talk down to them. Um, and talking down doesn't mean if your Instagram isn't doing this well, I can help. That's not really talking down to them. Um, but if you were actually talking to them and saying, "Hey, your Instagram's terrible," well, that wouldn't be so good. So don't complicate, don't intimidate. It needs to be exciting and it needs to flow. So keep it upbeat, keep it exciting. For instance, every time I do one for my local group, which is designed with a call to action to get somebody to subscribe to the newsletter, every one of them, it's something like, Chat GPT, give them a fear of missing out if they don't subscribe. Okay. Make it exciting, but give them a fear of missing out on something exciting if they don't subscribe. All right. So again, remember, less is more. You're not trying to write some long thing. And I think you'll notice, the day of these long posts on Facebook and that sort of thing, where people are writing a paragraph talking all about their journey and everything like that, nobody reads those. They're too long. And unless they really inspire you in the first couple of paragraphs, you're done. So those things are over with. Our minds have gone to shorter things. So less is more. Don't try and tell them everything about what you do in a caption for a reel. All right. Delete out anything repetitive or irrelevant. So if it's just gibberish, get it out of there. It doesn't belong. And be willing to pivot. Okay. So if what you're doing is not working, you're not getting attention, try something else. You know, if you're using somebody's caption setup as a guide and you're not getting what you want, try somebody else's caption setup. It doesn't matter. Keep trying different things. All right. So if you're not excited, they won't be. Okay. So make sure you've got some excitement going there because it's really important. Why would they want to be a part of whatever it is that you're doing if you're not excited about it? All right. And if you don't believe, they won't believe. And that's where I really personally believe you should always represent things that you use yourself or that you really feel could be useful to somebody else. Because if you don't believe in it, if you're just getting some product and selling it and you don't have any belief in it, why would they? So simple as that. If you don't believe it would help them, then why are you selling it? Don't reinvent the wheel, just realign it. Okay. And then you want to make sure and test a lot of things. Just test, 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 test. Okay. Very important. Okay, now something we didn't get to on a previous day, and I want to get back to it here real quick, is let me get down to that again is our email system. I'm going to show you a little more about that as we go. That was actually supposed to be part of yesterday, but we ran a little long. We're going to get that tomorrow for you. Um, but anyway, well, for starters, let's take a look at these are my current stats. That's day 13 right now, and I've only done one post today. I overslept, got up late, and I had to get this prepared, so I won't get another one done till after we're done. So I'm probably only going to get 3 in today, but so you don't have to be perfect, but just try to stay consistent. All right, this is my main one. We're at day 25 there again. Only done one of those today, but I'll get caught up and get another post in before the night's out. But anyway, we're up to 589 in 25 days. I still am putting on, let's see here, 24 to 25. Started out at 561, and I'm already up at 589 since the 24th. So, it grows pretty quick. Or actually this is since the 24th day. So yeah, you can see where I'm growing, 10 to 20 a day still. just by following this process. And you see, I'm up to 1134 in terms of my following. Okay. Um, so one thing I wanted to touch on, I've been sending out the videos that I gave you links to. Apparently, those links are not the right links. Those are for the initial page to download. You're not able to get to those. Apparently, only I can. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to set those all up on a separate page for you that I'll have set up here. It's going to take me a little bit to do it because I've got to go pick out each one now and get you the links for those. But I will get you all of those and some more that I promised you, so that we're definitely going to do that. And so anyway, we'll get that accomplished for you. And then let me get to my notes, make sure I'm getting everything. Any players following back. Oh, your goal is definitely to get to 1,000 followers. So that's what we're trying to get you to. Don't worry about failing. If you mess up and you start liking the wrong stuff and your Instagram just slows way down, you can blow it up and start over. And if you've got pertinent contacts in there already, all you do is get them to follow you on the other one. All right. So fail big. Don't worry about it. If it goes completely wrong, who cares? That's part of the deal. You can't move forward without being willing to fail. So now there's actually, I'm going to also include a video for you. It's a video by, oh, doggone it. Darn it. Video by, just had him in here a little while ago. And why am I drawing a blank on his name? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Denzel Washington. Doggone it. Anyway, yeah, there's a video I'm going to include by Denzel Washington. It's actually a commencement speech that he did. And he talks about failing big. So, that's important. You've got to be willing to fail. And if you talk to anyone successful, they'll tell you they've had a lot of failures. I mean, look at, Elon Musk, love him or not. I mean, all the stuff that he's doing has had a lot of failure. He's had a lot of rockets blow up. He's had a lot of Teslas that failed. He threw that thing at the Tesla window and cracked it all open. That wasn't supposed to happen. So he's had a lot of failures. He's had a lot of successes. So anyone you talk to Richard Branson, he talks about the same thing, having had to fail. So the other thing that Denzel talks about is the U-Haul doesn't follow the hearse. So the thing you need to remember is you can't take it with you. So you've got to be willing to pass it forward and make it count for somebody beyond you. You want to make sure you say thank you for what you've got going every day. Get up and start your day by saying thank you. And on the path to success, you've got to be disciplined and you've got to be consistent. And then the other thing is basically, he has a thing about, in the road to life, to success, if you learn something, you've got to be one and teach one. You've got to take what you learn and pass it forward to somebody else, teach it to somebody else. So in other words, remember to be disciplined, consistent, and pass it forward. I'm going to connect that video to the daily wrap up email so that you can all watch it. So we talked about the stages and the messaging situation. So one of the things I want you to think about with those buyer stages too. I want to go back to those for just a second. With the buyer stages. Boom. All right. With those buyer stages, I want you to think back. Can you remember when you were at level 1 and level 2? You were first blissfully unaware and then you started getting curious. Can you remember back to that time? Okay. Because this is the person you're wanting to deal with. And if you remember what that was like before you started learning all that you've learned and gained the successes you've gained, or maybe you're at that level now and you're just now learning. Okay. I want you to remember that because that's what you're wanting to help somebody else with. Okay. So very important to remember that. The other thing I wanted to show you is, again, we talked about the Um, we talked about all the templates, and I'm going to get you all the links for that. But I want to real quick go over to the internet, and I'm going to show you the secret source for all those because I want you to know where you can get them. And the secret source is Etsy. So it's not such a secret. But let's get over to Etsy here real quick. Oh, this is actually not the main thing on Etsy. Boom. Okay. So if you go in there and you just type in faceless video for Instagram, video templates. You see why I speak into the computer more than I type. So anyway, once you get there, you're going to find all these video templates, and there's story templates as well. So you type in story templates and you'll get those. So all these templates, and you're going to find they're pretty cheap in some cases. You know, here is, let me find one of the cheaper ones for you here. How about 100 plus videos for $1.50? Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. So you got all these. Now, these are all just generic videos. And again, this is the kind of thing that you would use to plug in when you're doing that bulk creation. So you do bulk creation about something business wise, and you could plug in a different one of these videos on just about every one of them. And you see, they're all just basic generic videos. And all of these are by and large editable in Canva. And what you want to really look for on them is make sure that they all come with, well, here it is right here, MRR and PLR, and they work in Canva. So just look for that. But all these, and that's why I'm able to give them to you, because they come with MRR and PLR rights. So I can resell them if I want to, or I can just offer them and give them away. And you will have the ability to do the same thing because I'm handing them to you with the same PLR rights. So I have the right to hand that to you. So I'm giving them to you, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of them on that page linked up for you. And you're willing to use them as much as you want, but they can also be a great thing to give away. Say, hey, you know, drop a whatever in the bottom, and I'm going to give you 100 plus social media templates or 100 plus digital marketing video reels. Okay. So just drop that in the comment and I'm going to give that to you. So somebody who's just getting started is going to think that's pretty cool, and that's going to bring them into your world. So number one, it's a place to find them for yourself. And number two, you've got the ability to use them in that way to do them. Now I'd hold off till tomorrow before you go and buy a bunch of them, because I'm going to include that link for you and you can see what you've got first. Because I've already got quite a few of them. I had some shared with me that I have the ability to share, and I also had a bunch that I bought myself. So, and when I say I bought myself, I've spent about $20 and I've got tons. So, you know, there are more than enough here, and you're probably going to get more than enough from me to get you started. But this is where you go and look if you want to find some more. So anyway, that's your little lesson on that. That's where you find that little secret goodie that I've been holding out on you. Because again, I want to give you everything. I'm not holding anything back, but that's the secret of where you're going to find those. So anyway, folks, that is pretty much what I've got for you for tonight. We're going to pick it up for day 7 tomorrow. We're going to finish things off. We're going to really talk about using stories. Um, I am still going to try and use this tool that I want to use that'll break down a big video into little bits. I haven't had time to do that yet. Could end up doing that after the whole thing and then just sending you a video on it after it's done. But I'm going to check that out. It's called Munch, but it's supposed to take a huge, like an hour-long video and break it up into little chunks that you can use. So we're going to try and do that tomorrow. I'm going to try and do a stitch video. I have not actually done one of those yet myself, but it shouldn't be too hard. You're pretty much just sandwiching some videos together. I got to take a picture of myself doing this first. So we'll get that accomplished tonight. So anyway, that's what I've got for you this evening. Let me go ahead and stop the share. And we're going to stop the recording and we'll open it up for some questions.